Oh my God. I'm coming. I swear. I'm getting ready. I swear I am. It's all Luisa's fault. Hold on. Hold on. Let's do this properly. Oh my goodness.
Coffee and Headlines is brought to you by the generous support of our viewers and the following community partners: Best Cord Cutting TV, Bravo's Restaurant Bar, El Rey Lounge de Versalles, Joint Boutique Hotel and Cowork, Monson Brewing Company, Puerto Vallarta Neurofeedback, Puerto Vallarta Owners Reps, Oculto, and Siam Cocina Thai. Thank you for your support, and thank you for supporting our community partners.
Oh my God. Where to begin? Well, I'm sorry I was a little late this morning, but it's all Luisa's fault. Luisa from Guadalajara sent me. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Headlines. So, Luisa, our friend, amiga Luisa, who's still around, I mean, she's now part of the silent majority, and that's okay too. Um, and we love her. She sent me this morning the most vulgar, the most marvelous, dirty, filthy song in Spanish I have heard in my life. And it is an earworm. And it is so disgusting. I couldn't stop listening to it this morning as I was getting ready for the broadcast. I won't even play it here because it's filthy. But if you're curious about it, I'll make you a deal. If you've been a Coffee and Headline supporter at any point in time, I'll be happy to send it via email to the supporter group if you write the word filthy. Now, please don't think less of me. I know I love my fart humor and I know I like my body dirty songs, but trust me, I also like other things. But this one was just a keeper. Also, before we move any further, this caught my attention. Somebody just wrote, I couldn't find the podcast. Good morning, Laura. I cannot explain it. After I put out my announcement this morning, I went and clicked on it on Facebook, and it was there. So I don't know if Facebook is up to something interesting that is preventing people from finding the podcast. But of course, we are always here at 10:30 local time. Let me just put things in the proper place. Um, it's a good thing that I had a good idea of what we were going to cover today because filthy. You guys are filthy too. Oh God, this one takes the cake. Takes the price, takes the cake. I don't know what the expression is. Anyhow, it's a good thing that I had a good idea of what we were going to feature this morning. I just had to put it together very, very quickly. So there will be a little bit of a stream of consciousness this morning as I didn't. Uh, you guys are so funny. I will not only feature the filthy song, I will feature the filthy lyrics, and I will feature the amazing video that Luisa sent me. It was a spotlight, not a spotlight, an Instagram short video of Elvis singing, and you think you're about to hear Elvis crooning, but somebody dubbed this very dirty um, song over Elvis that it was just so brilliant. I will share the whole thing in a little while after the broadcast is over. But now let's move on because we do have things to talk about. I hope everybody's doing well. Um, and here we go. Let's start with this one. Now, I don't know the whole story. What this says is ATM bus drivers threaten to go on strike. Now, we know the ATM bus drivers we know the ATM bus line as the bus line that goes from Puerto Vallarta to the state of Nayarit and back. It's the only urban transportation that we have that crosses from one state to the other. Um, Apparently, the drivers have threatened to go on strike because, among other things, they don't like the new electronic payment system, and they argue that they repair their own buses. Let's unpack this a little bit. When you use cash on a bus, on a city bus, it's hard to know exactly um, where the money goes. I don't know. You put your money there, and then sometimes when you use your bus pass, the machine goes ding ding ding, but you don't get a ticket. What I'm getting at is bus drivers have not been very accountable. And maybe they don't like the fact that they're going to be accountable now. There are always two sides to the story, whatever it is. We certainly hope it gets resolved. I will say this, and this is not gossip, but because it came from a good source, but it was not published anywhere. But when the reglamentos, the permits office here in Puerto Vallarta was informed, apparently they were informed that the payment system for city permits was going to become digitized or electronic. And a few employees were not so happy about this development because that would make them accountable. So only God knows why they were not so happy about that. I'll let you develop your own conclusions. And we're going to leave that at that. Moving right along, this made me very happy. I saw an article in English about this from Banderas News, but I also saw this one in Spanish. Apparently, Puerto Vallarta's administration is instituting an adopt a tree program during the rain season. From June to September, there will be a stand that will visit several public squares every week or every 2 weeks. And at these stands, you will be able to adopt a tree, which you will be able to plant wherever you want. Each adopted tree will include a technical sheet containing valuable information about its species, common name, uses, and recommendations for management, planting, and care. I think this is a great initiative. We will feature more information. Certainly, I hope that they will announce with advance notice which parks they're going to be visiting. In other news, this one is very sad. The sea lion didn't make it. This is about a sea lion that was spotted on Los Muertos Beach, not far from Lázaro Cárdenas Plaza. Authorities saw it and cordoned off the area, instructing people to leave the specimen alone. Apparently, the specimen went back to the ocean and then was spotted at Holly Beach, at which point it was captured and taken to Vallarta Adventures Research Facility. But unfortunately, he passed away yesterday. And that makes me very, very sad for some reason. President Sheinbaum reported that she held a very successful meeting with Subsecretary of State Christopher Landau. There are details about what they discussed on this article. Things, of course, didn't fare that well for this gal. Meet Melissa Cornejo. She is a state advisor for the Morena party here in Jalisco. And she tweeted on her personal account. Here's something that, just it's not so smart to be so stupid. But she posted on her Twitter account something along the lines. Her post had to do with what's going on in LA, of course. She posted something along the lines of Um, Here's my support for Mexican nationals, and you can take my visa and insert it up your anal canal. She didn't use those words. She used a very colorful metaphor. And unfortunately for her, Subsecretary Landau was, he was informed of the post, and he wrote back and he said, well, you don't even have a visa. But if you did, I would be the first to, or actually, he said something along the lines of, you don't have a visa, but I've already given instructions to ensure that you never get one. Your post was vulgar and really uncalled for. And I have to side on his side this time around. There are ways to say some things that are just not the best ways. On a broader um, mindset, I suppose, when people ask me or invite me to go to the United States or anywhere, I must say that, and this I say with all due respect, there are wonderful places to visit and explore in Mexico. There are wonderful places to visit elsewhere around the world. So, you know, I'm just going to leave that alone. Let's take a look at the weather. And fuck yes, rain stopping in 12 minutes. Not true. It's out sunny out there. And the sun is out. It's warm. I don't see any rain. It is 30 degrees right now. Humidity is at 68%. Our weather forecast for today says light rain throughout the day with a chance of rain of 37% and a high of 32 and a low of 26. But the plot thickens for the afternoon. We're going to have mostly cloudy skies. For tomorrow, mostly cloudy skies in the morning. Tomorrow, with thunderstorms in the afternoon, a high of 32 and a low of 26. A chance of rain of 76% tomorrow. There are a couple of adventures that I'm going to tell you about momentarily, and I hope they don't get rained on. And then on Sunday, we can expect thunderstorms throughout the day. A chance of rain of 87%, make it so. A high of 31 and a low of 25. Moving right along, I have placed this image here as a placeholder to briefly tell you about Substack. Now, you may or may not know what Substack is. I'm not completely well versed on Substack. It is a new online platform that allows creators to share content, whether it's written articles or podcasts and images and whatnot, like other similar platforms. This platform, Substack, allows you to monetize your content if you choose to do so. So I've been looking at it, not so much because I want to monetize content on Substack, but because I have friends. We have friends that are now writing on Substack, and I thought I would mention that and give him a shout out. Our friend Paul Crist, who's always very well informed and writes very intelligently about what's going on north of the border, he has a Substack account. And if you want to follow his content, I'm going to share his link in the show notes. Our dear cluster friend, Pamala Sheppard, also started writing on Substack, not about politics. She seems to have mafioso relatives. So she is writing all about her mafioso relatives and other interesting and funny personal anecdotes. So shout out to you guys for thinking outside of the box and finding creative ways and creative outlets for your knowledge, your expertise, and your experience. If you know of anybody else that is on Substack, if you or anyone you know is posting interesting content, whether it is to monetize or just to be to have an outlet, a creative outlet, please let us know. We are so keen on supporting these kinds of things. Yesterday, I don't always have chance to do this, and of course, we support events that are published in as Facebook events on Facebook. But yesterday I had a chance to do a little exploring, and here are some things that popped into my Facebook experience. The first one being that the Amapas Neighborhood Association sent out this reminder of the second Saturday cleanup, which is organized by them. This, according to their own words, has sparked remarkable community engagement with volunteers enthusiastically taking to the streets across Amapas to beautify the area. With rainy season approaching, the program now seeks financial contributions to secure heavy duty equipment rentals necessary for managing the seasonal accumulation of storm debris. And they include a place where you can make a contribution, and you can, of course, find more information by contacting them at volunteer@amapas.com. You can pursue the post. You will find it in the show notes today. And of course, as I mentioned a second ago, tomorrow is a good day to go to bazaars along the Pitilal Riverway Park or walk. There's the Young Entrepreneurs Bazaar that is going on from 3 to 9. This is going to happen on the Soriana side of the walkway. But then I also found out that there's going to be a Father's Day um, bazaar organized by Riviera Market. And this is going to happen pretty much at the same time, but on the opposite side of the walkway. This is going to happen next to La Isla. And this is a great way to go shopping for locally made products and whatnot. Again, both events are tomorrow afternoon. I certainly hope they don't get rained on. And what else did I bring to the table today? Oh, this one. This one came out of nowhere, and I'm going to read it. This from Vallarta Volunteers. We are a group of 25 entrepreneurs from Canada working in the construction industry. That sounds sexy already. We are planning a trip to Puerto Vallarta in January 2026 and would love to volunteer in the local community during our stay. I'm reaching out to see if anyone could help us coordinate this initiative. We are looking to support a school, a kindergarten, a senior residence, or a similar facility by offering services such as wall painting or resurfacing floors with epoxy, which is our specialty. How awesome is that? So, I'm going to share this again from the Vallarta Volunteers group. If you fit the bill of know of any school or facility that fits the bill, I think this is absolutely generous and absolutely wonderful. And now let's head over to Chit Chat. But first, this also delayed me this morning because I just put it together.
I have a question for you. Are you familiar with these characters? If you watch this on TV, then you already know Michel Legrand. I may not be able to tell you much about what happens next here, but if you join me this coming Thursday at 5 p.m. at the Joint Boutique Hotel, you may learn a thing or two about Michel Legrand.
Oh, yes. And that's going to be so much fun. For the record, I have presented Michel Legrand before, many, many years ago. But in doing research, there are so many new, wonderful, recent performances of some of his timeless music that I am finding myself revamping my presentation. So if you say to yourselves, well, I've seen Paco talk about Michel Legrand before, this is going to be completely brand spanking new, pretty much. Daniel House is in the house, my wonderful spiritual technology advisor. I have to say that one of my highlights from our recent trip to Guadalajara, it was Daniel, Lars, and yours truly. At some point, I needed to go yarn shopping, so I kind of hinted Please leave me alone for 10 minutes. And Daniel said, well, there's a technology plaza across the street. We'll go there. And I'm like, perfect. So I came back in less than 10 minutes and I was sitting on the sidewalk waiting for them, and they were taking their time. And all of a sudden, I see Daniel and Lars come out of the technology plaza, and Daniel had this ear to ear smile. He apparently spotted and purchased the most adorable, made in China, fully functional um, Apple phone. Now, to give you a sense of what he bought, this is the size of my iPhone, right? Well, the one Daniel bought was like a tiny, tiny version of it. And of course, it was Android powered, but it was perfectly functional and it totally looked like a mini iPhone. And I did a double take, and I said to myself, "Oh my god, I never heard of that model. What the fuck?" But it was so funny. And Daniel has been gushing about it ever since. And it was only 1,000 pesos, if I recall correctly. Not a lot of money to pay for a mini butt phone. So, hello, Daniel. Thank you for not letting me share your story, or thank you for letting me share your story before I consulted with you. The end. Look at all these good mornings. Thank you so very much for them. And let's see what we have. Rain, go away. I would send PV some if I had the power. Please make it so, Karen, because, oh my gosh, it would be so nice to have some rain at some point. Filthy and nothing like a good laugh. Thank you for your support. Um, I'm going to share it. We can talk about it after the fact. Um, what a great idea. Maybe it's time for the farting iguana. Sure, why not? Where did she go? The shit show, pooping bunny, farting iguana. There you go. Oh, what do you mean video file not found? Oh my goodness. Okay, I need to rearrange my files. I will find the farting iguana and we will play it tomorrow. Why not? Karen says, filthy, gotta have it. Some of these songs are just so vulgar. I think to myself, what would people think if we do a totally filthy music appreciation presentation on really filthy but smartly put together songs? I don't know. Maybe one of these days. Let's see. Harold says, is coffee and headlines becoming triple X? No, far from it. We would be canceled, and I think you wouldn't enjoy it as much. I wouldn't even take my shirt off. You wouldn't want to see that. Let's see what else we have. Let's see. More good mornings. Hello, Tim Beaufort. So happy that you found us this morning. Yay. Things must be working well. Yeah, Rod. The specimen didn't look so happy. And I don't know if they will probably do an autopsy, and hopefully we will learn a little bit more about the cause of its injuries. Salam, how can we have coffee if you're not here? I hope you're having a good time in Mexico City. I was not even able to get to some Mexico City news this morning, but I'll save them for tomorrow. Mary says, it makes me very sad also. I must say, I don't know if it's getting older or if it's me being a highly sensitive person, but I increasingly struggle with bad news about animals being hurt or treated badly. It's like I get this actual physical reaction to those news, and I avoid them as much as I can. Conversely, I find myself increasingly addicted to feel good adoption videos on YouTube, and there's no shortage of those. So we pick our own little content, I suppose. Let's see. I know. I know the weather program we use is not accurate this time of year, but it's very funny. If you think we should be using a different weather program, I can certainly make Snarky Weatherman go away. I kind of used to it not being accurate, but if we're here for useful information more than snarky comments by an artificial weatherman. So if you think we should be looking at other options, I am so very happy to consider that. Oh, here's some interesting information. Thank you, Claude. You've been awfully quiet lately, but I love you and I miss you. I have 3 different weather apps and all have not been accurate at all. We get rain when it says we are not. Last night we got lots of rain here in the mountains, which is beautiful for you, but you guys live less than half an hour away from El Libramiento. And I don't think we're seeing any rain just yet, but hopefully that'll change over the weekend. Logan chimes along the same lines. I just want rain. And Mary says, I like Snarky Weatherman. Well, Snarky Weatherman makes me laugh quite a bit. It's just, it's a science and it's difficult to predict these things, I suppose. But I predict you will either be totally amused or totally grossed out with the song that I'm going to share in a little short while. But first, let me thank you for another day, another broadcast. I'm sorry I literally just landed on my chair today. It's all Luisa's fault, but I thank her for opening my eyes to this very, very vulgar production. And I thank you for bringing your comments, your thoughts into the mix every morning. I wish you... Oh, I forgot. It is Friday the 13th, but you don't have to worry. In Mexico, it is Tuesday the 13th that gives us cause for concern. So if you're south of the border, you should be fine. I'll see you again tomorrow.